What's good, everybody? This is Bamboozled Black Baby Boomer with another, with yet another live stream. I have been kind of away from things of late. Hopefully, you guys will see me, and hopefully, I'm looking and seeing that the stream is public and it is live. Hope somebody will join me. And yeah, so how y'all doing? It's a rare Saturday night that I pop up on here. But last time I went live, I was in my car heading up to the Philadelphia area from here in D.C. And of course, uh, and of course, I was we got. I see my stream is a little bit. Okay, I see my stream is a little bit weird, but I was driving up to DC on the um, on the on what was that? What day was that? That was a couple of days ago, on the 13th, Wednesday. Had a gig interview in Philadelphia on Thursday, and then came back to the DC area on what was it? I came back to the DC area on on early Friday and had another interview. Um, Look, I'm still at that area where too young to retire and too old to be looking for gigs, but it is what it is, as they like to say. What's going on with my stream? I see it's turning yellow now. But the reason I came on here was just to kind of just talk to you about the interviews and how they went and all that, just to give y'all a few tips. Y'all have, hopefully, y'all have seen episode 2 of the Bamboozled Black Baby Boomer um, Planet GovCon podcast. I do plan another one to upload one, hopefully Monday or Tuesday. And I talked about capability statements and how to position yourself if you have a business to work for the government. And a lot of those same principles can be, you can talk about those same principles when it comes to looking for a gig. Um, Yourself, like knowing your customer, knowing the company you're working for, and knowing what's important to them, and all that good stuff. And as you guys know, I'm a proposal writer. I've been here in the DC area for the last 11 years, um, but it looks like I might have to relocate back up to Philly after 11 years here in the nation's capital area. And in many ways, it's gotten a little tough to find work around here because the government does not move fast when it comes to giving out contracts and paying folks and all that good stuff. And when folks like me, who are overhead for companies, let me make sure you guys are hearing me. You are hearing me good. Um, when when you are when I God, what was I going to say? When you're overhead and not directly on a contract, you tend to be laid off fast. And that's what's happened to me over the last 5 years. I've bounced from company to company here in D.C. The company I interviewed with in Philly actually has its home office in Houston. Now, they're either going to talk to me over the phone. I did talk to a couple of people. One guy I actually work with, and this is in the environmental area, by the way. Um, when I say environmental, I mean environmental remediation oil and gas work, construction, that kind of thing, because that's where I started out. When I came to DC, I was mostly into IT work, IT proposal work. So, what can I say? I got up there and I talked to a couple of folks, and we were just basic. It was almost like the guy I worked with before and another dude. It was like both white dudes. It was like we were just shooting the shit, if you will. It was more like like a bunch of, we're just shooting the shit, more like it was an interview, you know, more, more like, more like that than an interview. But, I would say that, I would say that, it was pretty good. And the other thing I wanted to talk about was the interview that happened. I came back and then I had an interview here. But before I go to that, the company that, the environmental company that I worked for, that, that I'm looking to work for rather, is it has its home office in Houston. So the person I would be reporting to if they were to hire me would be in Houston, and I may either talk to him on the phone or may have to go to Houston, Texas, which would be interesting since I've never been to Houston. So that would be kind of interesting. But but I'm looking to see if there's anybody watching. Oh, okay, we got three watching. Great. We got three folks watching. But I wanted to talk about the interview that I had when I got back here. Again, another government contractor here in D.C. Because I got to keep my options open. Nothing's set in stone just yet. But I did decide that if I didn't have a firm offer of employment here in the D.C. area, I'd just go ahead and relocate to Philadelphia, to New Jersey, where my family is, and but anyway, the interview I had was kind of interesting, and I found myself almost controlling it. I couldn't believe it. I was actually controlling it. One of the things they asked me was, well, proposals is fast paced, and how do you deal with the stress? And I'm going, you know what? I know stress, and a lot of stress has to do with deadlines. And one of the things I like to say is that I eat deadlines for breakfast. I've been dealing with deadlines my whole life as a reporter, proposals, external deadlines. I've been dealing with those all my life. So I know what I'm doing. I know how to use the tools. I know how to find information and all that good crap. And one of the things I did learn about myself was if you ask me what was my biggest weakness, and I actually did a video on that, and I found out something. I do have a weakness, and that is trying to remember everything that I need to do in my head rather than give myself reminders by using, Microsoft Outlook and whatnot. When I was in newspapers, I used to try to remember everything off the top of my head and did and didn't do a very good job of it. And checklists are everything, folks. If you're on a gig, always rely on checklists to remind you of every point you want to make. Because here's the thing, I really think the reason that some of us want to try to want to hold everything in memory is because of when we were in school from kindergarten through 12th grade. What did we have to do? We had to take tests and we had to memorize shit. We didn't really learn the material. We just had to memorize it in order to pass the test. And as soon as we took the test, or passed it, or flunked it, or whatever, we would forget what we learned. And I think that's a big thing. And I actually told the folks sitting across from me that was one of my. I told them the bit about the K through 12 and memorizing things for tests, and they were like shaking their heads, and I'm like, okay, great. Um, So that was something that just popped into my head, and it's something I think maybe you guys might want to something you guys might want to you know keep in mind. And I said, hell, airline pilots. If you go on YouTube, you'll see air. I like sometimes to watch videos of airline pilots, you know, from the cockpit flying these big ass jetliners. Some of these jetliners look like ocean liners with wings. I think one of them is the Airbus A380. That son of a bitch is huge. It's bigger than the friggin' 747. And these guys are sitting in there constantly reading stuff off to one another to make sure nothing's forgotten, because you don't want to be rolling down the runway and reach that speed, that V1. V1 is what's known as the point of no return. That is the point at which you got to get that plane up off the ground, or you're going to overshoot the runway, and that could be the end of the runway, rather, and that shit could be catastrophic. So you want to make sure everything is working and get that bitch up in the sky. and but those guys use checklists all the time. They use checklists before they push out. They use checklists on as they're taxiing, and then they're using checklists as they're up in the air. And then once they're up at they hit that cruising altitude. They kick the autopilot on, and then they kick back and just let the plane fly itself until it's time to reach their destination and land. I find that shit fascinating. And believe it or not, I wanted to be an airline pilot at one time. That shit was fascinating to me. But unfortunately, life that wasn't in the cards for Quad B. Bamboozle Black Baby Boomer. That wasn't in the cards, but hey, what are you going to do? But I say all that to say that when you are in a job where there are a million moving parts, where you got to deal with a lot of people, and you're responsible for getting input from various people to put into a project. You've got to remind yourself. And what I do is I have to put in reminders in, say, Outlook, to remind myself, to remind other folks of various milestones, meetings, reviews, and all that good shit. So that's something you might want to think about when you're on a job interview. And the other thing, too, is proposals are basically projects. And I took I did take a course in project management a few years ago, and the facilitator, a friend who happened to be a friend of mine, a sister who actually taught the course, she said that 90% of project management is communication. And this is what we do on YouTube every day. We communicate, right? And and so you have to be in communication with people. Everybody has to be on the same page. You've got to, if somebody contacts you, like I tell people that if you contact me, I'm going to get back to you real quickly. I'm not going to leave you hanging. And that's a big pet peeve with me. If I contact you, via email or something like that, like email, for example, I expect to hear from you at least within 24 hours. And if I don't hear from you within 24 hours, then I'm going to pick up the phone and call your ass like, oh, yo, I need you to write this piece of this technical approach. And could you, do you have an idea when you'd have it? So, again, I'm the type of guy that likes to do technical approaches and whatnot. Is there anybody in the chat room? Because I don't see. I see 6 people watching, but nobody I'm just wanting to make sure that my browser window here in OBS is working correctly. And as you can see, I have the little background. Usually I have a capital, I'm showing the capital during the day, but since it's nighttime, I'm showing a capital view at night. But yeah, so I just, I like to talk about that kind of stuff. I like dropping game like that on us, on folks, because, there's a lot of, here in the Black Sector of YouTube, there's a lot of like back and forth arguing and this and that. And I want to try to drop some game, some real game. Because, we can't afford, in my opinion, we can't afford to be, you know, warring with one another. You know what I'm saying? So I'd like to try to drop some game. And, um, you know, that's basically, it. And again, if, like I said, if I don't have a firm if I don't have a firm, offer of employment by the end of, of September, I'm probably going to, for sure, relocate back to the Philly area or southern New Jersey. Now, my wife, you met Mrs. Bamboozle. We've done a couple of live streams together. She is looking to go to Florida to do finish her doctorate because all her dissertation committee is down there. She's been doing it online, but the physical school is in Fort Lauderdale. And of course, I have to tell her be careful down there because there are a bunch of nutcases. It seems that there are a whole bunch of nutcases in Florida. There are nutcases in Florida. All that stand your ground bullshit. So just I want to tell her to be careful. Um, what I guess the reason I'm saying all this is the lease that we have here in Fairfax County, Virginia, west of DC, is going to be up next month in October. And the reason what kept us here was our youngest son in the school system here. And he's graduated now. He's likely to go back to Jersey with me and do his thing. He As you know, I did a live stream from Boston a few weeks back where he was selling some artwork at what's known as what was a Nintendo Smash convention, and I thought that was pretty cool. So he's going to continue doing his art, and then he also has a plus IT cert, which means he could do help desk or help pull the assemble. He could assemble. What can he assemble? Computers, assemble desktops, laptops, whatever have you. And he's only 18, so we'll see what happens there. My older son rather, he's gonna stick around here in DC because he's got a contract. He's on a contract working where the IRS is the direct client. He's working for a company that's a subcontractor to a prime, and the prime is doing networking work for the Internal Revenue Service. So we're as much as I talk about intergenerational living, it looks like we're going to be scattered for a little while. Of course, my daughter, she's in the Bay Area, living in Oakland and working in San Francisco, um, doing tech type work. So it's good to know that my kids are, going to be doing their thing. And so like I said, I'll be still doing live streams, but that I wanted to let y'all know that instead of the Capitol, you might be seeing this as a background. Ooh, okay. That browser window. I don't know why that browser window wasn't showing, but this is what you're likely to see next time. This is the Philadelphia skyline. Isn't that cool? I just found this picture. Yeah, this is the Philadelphia skyline. This is City Hall, and here's some one Liberty Place. There's William Penn, who who laid Philadelphia out, years ago. But yeah, that's Philadelphia, y'all. So I might be coming at you like that. But I love skylines, so skylines do look pretty cool. But anyway, I'm trying to figure out, is anybody is let me make sure this thing is public, right? Okay, I got 5 people watching. Yeah, can y'all come on the can y'all like hit the chat and see if the I just want to make sure my browser's working because it says this video is unavailable and I thought I put the browser. Hold on. Okay, I thought I put the browser. This is where the chat normally would be. Can somebody at least let me see what would happen. Let me do this real quick. Let me see what would happen if I type something in. Hmm. I'm not seeing anything. I just typed hello. Um, says this video is unavailable. I don't know why. I just typed in the videos. I don't know why this. I'm not quite sure why. Let me see something here. My bad, y'all. Um, I'm not quite sure what's up with the with the with the. Let's see what would happen if I refresh the cache. Okay, okay, there it is. Yeah, I want to keep them. Wait a minute. Yeah, there it is. Well, for some reason it comes up. It's not. For some reason it's not coming up. Uh, Transparent. I don't know why. But it is what it is. I'm gonna have to figure that out. But yeah, so that is. Yeah, I just wanted to type that in just to see if the chat was working. Usually the chat is transparent, but I don't know. I don't know why that's cascading style sheet isn't showing a clear background. I don't know. I'm not quite sure why. Let me see what happens when I do it. Let me see what happens when I go back to Capital Night. Yeah. Let me see what happens when I go back to that. Um, okay. Yeah, same thing. I'm not quite sure why I'm not quite sure why that's the case, but anyway, I'll have to figure that out later on. But if anybody's out there, if anybody is out there, holler, because it gets kind of lonely here. I know I'm not the most popular YouTuber on the planet. I have 250 subscribers. I got 5 of y'all apparently watching. um, but oh, Neon Eyes. Hey, how you doing? Testing. Oh, there you go. Okay, now we've got it working. We've got it working correctly. Hey, Neon, what's going on? Thank you for showing up. Um, but yeah, this is like I said, this is the Philadelphia skyline and the Philadelphia skyline and and I may end up working out somewhere west of Philadelphia. Or heck, who knows? They may insist on me coming to Houston, which would be kind of cool. I've never been to Houston before, and I noticed something else about Houston. Rent is cheap. I just did. A, I just checked out the apartments down there just for spits and giggles. Okay, hey, yes, me and the missus are fine, thank you. Um, Everything looks great, thank you. I'm glad everything's working well on your end. Thank you very much. Um, I'm gonna say, I went down to, no, I didn't go down. I went on Craigslist and went on a couple of websites, and I noticed that rents were cheap as fuck down there. I'm like, whoa. I don't know what they pay down there for the work I would do, but man, I mean, I saw two-bedroom apartments outside of Houston, Texas, for maybe like anywhere from 5 to 900 a month, and that's a far cry from the 2 grand to 25 grand for the same apartments. Well, a lot of the same apartments that they're building around here in D.C. Oh my lord, it is ridiculous. But Neon Eyes. Oh, but how you asked how are me and the missus? The missus is fine. We were talking for a little while. We were talking for a little bit um, about some stuff. But yeah, I'm just here just to go live. I hadn't gone live like this in a while. And I have my my lighting, and I've got the green screen behind me, and just trying to make my live streams look a little bit professional. And that's about. I don't know what else I can say. Um, what's on your Neon? What's on your mind? Um, Anything in particular? Do you like the skyline back here? I found it on I just happened to find it on Google, and I thought, oh, and it looks like sunset because you're facing it's facing that's a westward view from from the east. It's actually west. It looks like a sunset. But yeah, Philly, yeah. At one time, believe it or not, Philly there was a gentleman's agreement that in Philly that Billy Penn, the city hall right here is going to be was supposed to be the biggest, tallest building, but then in the 80s, I think it was the 80s, they decided they screw that. Some developers said, fuck all that. We want to build skyscrapers. So this is what they built. Let's see. Houston is fairly inexpensive. I lived there for some time. Yeah, Central Texas is less expensive. Glad I could catch your live stream. Our skyline looks better, but I like it because the sunset. And when you say our skyline, meaning DC, where are you located? Are you located in DC, in the DC area, or Austin? Okay, Austin is the close. I looked on the map. Austin is the closest major city to Houston. Further up would be San Antonio, and even further up would be the Dallas Fort Worth Metroplex. But one of the things I remember about Houston, one of the things I remember about Houston, Texas, the times I've driven through there, it takes 12 hours to drive from all the way from East Texas to El Paso. That's, Texas is huge. It's like driving from my parents' house near Philly all the way to my grandfather's farm in South Carolina, more than 700 miles. That's a, Texas is a huge ass state. But again, I don't know whether I'll be. I don't know. I doubt if I will be living in Houston. But yeah, lots of land. Oh my God, yes, yes, and it's flat, very flat. I've noticed. But yeah, but I looked at the prices down there, and I'm like, you got to be kidding me. So, and then I noticed too that I did some calculations using something called paycheckcity.com. I punched in various salaries. It's a very good website. You should try it sometime. It'll give you an approximation of what you'll get paid based on a salary and based on where you live. And, if you punch in your how much your benefits or your 401k and all that good stuff. And I noticed that Texas doesn't really have a lot of doesn't have a high state tax like say here, Virginia or New Jersey. New Jersey, oh my God, New Jersey. And a lot, if I do work in Philly, not only they, no, actually, I'd be working in the west suburbs, so I wouldn't be working in Philly per se. Because if you work in Philly, they charge you a wage tax. Whether you work in Philly or live in Philly and work in Philly, they charge you like, I think the last time I looked, it was 4%. It could have gone up, but they charge you a wage tax. That's probably why a lot of the employers moved out of Philly and went to the west suburbs, like Delaware County and Montgomery County, Pennsylvania. I believe this place I'm going to is in Delaware County, Pennsylvania. So I don't think I'd be subject to a wage tax, but I would definitely be subject to New Jersey taxes since I would be living in New Jersey, and of course I grew up in New Jersey. Um, so yeah, so if you see me on live streams and after October, you'll probably see this picture in the background. But I think it's pretty cool. Maybe I'll show some other ones like maybe 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 the Lincoln Financial Field where the Eagles play. Yes, and I am still basking in the glow of the Eagles winning the Super Bowl for the first time ever last year. And I know a lot of y'all brothers want to boycott the NFL behind Colin Kaepernick and everything, but look, look, I've been watching football all my life, and if I'm going to boycott something, it's got to be something that's going to have where my boycott has an impact because I don't think me boycotting the NFL is going to help. And then most of the players are black. Now, if they start their own league, I'll support that. But until then, I think I'll watch football. And again, I just wish they would be more careful when they play and stop leading with their heads when they tackle. You know, wrap up. Don't go in with your head because they got all that. Now we're hearing about all that CTE shit, that those brain injuries that can cause dementia and all that. If you play football, be careful. I mean, hell, when I was growing up, we used to play. Hey Thalia, how you doing? No, I've never seen you on one of my streams. How you doing? What's going on? I've never seen you on a stream. Welcome to the Quad B channel. Um, but yeah, hey, so I want to see football players go back to rapping. Wrap up. Don't try to knock people off with your head. You can break your neck and all that kind of stuff. But guess these young guys think they're invincible. I guess we all, even when I was in my 20s, I guess I thought I was invincible. And you don't want to know half the shit I did when I was in my 20s. Oh, God. And I'm not talking about football either. Oh, I thank the Lord that I've ended up. I'm 58, so I'm almost at 59 trips around the sun. Um, Thalia says she's good. She's looking okay. Looking at apartments and places to live. Is North Carolina good? I believe so. It's in the South. It's cheap. It's cheaper. Definitely cheaper than the Northeast. Definitely. And if you can find good work there, you'll do all right. Angry Man lives in the Durham. I believe he lives in the Raleigh Durham area, and I have relatives in the Raleigh, and I have a aunt and some other folks who live in Durham, or not, if not Durham City, Durham County, North Carolina. And I would definitely look at the Carolinas. And I had said to my wife that I would love to be able to, maybe build a house or retirement home on my grandfather's farm in South Carolina, which is about an hour south of the state capital of Columbia. And either there or maybe my daughter was talking about us living together in San Diego. The only way I would live in San Diego is if we were all under the same roof again. Because I can't be under the pressure of being the main breadwinner in a household given the way employment is. And my old ass, age discrimination is a thing, y'all. And see, I worry less about age discrimination. No, I worry less about racial discrimination than I do age now. I don't worry about the fact that I'm black walking into a place because I know what the fuck I'm doing. I know what I'm doing when I go in. It's the age thing because they look at you like, oh, he's old. He's going to cost us more in terms of health insurance and whatnot. Now, here's the thing. Yeah, I am. Hey, Jack, what's going on? What's going on? Thanks for joining me. My thinking is that I am what? I am yes, I definitely need to lose a few pounds. My big problem is I hate to fucking freaking work out. I really do. In order for me to really work out, I need to be doing something like playing basketball or playing or doing something where I'm not thinking about the fact that, okay, I'm on this treadmill. Oh God, I got 25 more minutes to do this boring shit. I hate working out. So it's going to be either that or I got to get me a personal trainer who is going to push me. Now, back in 2009, I had kind of ballooned up to 250 pounds. I'm 5'8", 250. So I went on a regimen for a while and I dropped I dropped like 30 pounds in 3 months. I went to work every morning. They had a workout room in the building. I'd be doing my thing, doing the elliptical and lifting, and I'd then take a shower, go upstairs to the office. I'd be feeling good. Then my weight plateaued. I stopped losing weight and I got pissed and I stopped. And then, I eat this. I gotta stop eating shit. Certain shit I gotta stop eating too. I admit I have a soft spot for candy, like sour candy, Airheads and whatnot. So I gotta stop. I gotta get off of that too. But my point being is that I don't want to be 65 years old. Yeah, being healthy is definitely hard work, Thalia. You got that right. But my point is that I would really, really like to, be healthy into, by the time I turn 70. Um, and, and just I often joke. I'm fit, like I said, I'll be in November, I'll be 59. Matter of fact, election day, my birthday falls on election day, which is, it's November 6th. And I sometimes like to joke and say, I should tell people that I'm 70. So they'll say, damn, you look good for 70. And I'll be like, yeah, thank you. So I'm going to be lying. Instead of lying about my age downward, I'm going to lie my age upward. But no, but I say all that to say that, age discrimination in hiring and employment is a thing. And I see a lot of white folks complaining about that on platforms like LinkedIn. And sometimes I'll be laughing and say, discrimination based on an immutable physical characteristic. Yeah, it doesn't feel too good, does it? and I'm thinking, yeah, probably half of y'all was discriminating against folks like us when you were in charge of shit, But I didn't go there. I didn't go there. I lurk. I lurk and look at what people write. But I like to talk about shit like this, like employment and, yeah, your grandpa wants to work as well. How old's your grandfather, Thalia? How old is she? I mean, he. I'm sorry. Sorry about that. How old is he? Just curious. Because he is 79. And I'll bet you, okay. And I'll bet he probably looks good for his age. He probably could pass for maybe, what, 65 maybe? Because, as they say too, black don't crack. I went to my class reunion. Speaking, he'll be 80 in November. Okay. My parents are 80, 85, and 83. My father's 85. My mom's 83, and my mom's still sharp as a tack. My father, I think he's a little depressed. All his buddies have passed on, and he's kind of, I can't really say, I shouldn't really be saying, but he still talks about stuff from years ago. It's interesting to talk to my father because he grew up here in Philadelphia. He was born in the 30s and was, raised in Philadelphia. And to be a black teenager growing up in Philly in the 40s was not fun because they had to deal with the freaking police, and the police just beat the shit out of them just for GP. He talks about being hit with, our big fat Irish cops just beating the shit out of him for no reason. You know, give me a group of them will be on if his buddies will be on a corner and a cop will walk up. I want this corner. So my father would be the last one to get up, and the cop would whack him on his leg, and at first he said his own mother, my grandmother, didn't believe how bad these cops were until she saw it for herself. And then the funny thing was, according to my dad, when the Philadelphia Police Department started hiring blacks to be police officers, my grandmother told my uncle, my father's brother, if you become a cop, you won't be a son of mine. I'm like, wow. Because, if you've ever heard Charles Faulkner, he's a police officer in Baltimore. He's of the belief that if you really want to change, join the force and change from within. But back then, my grandmother apparently did not want her sons being police officers because she felt like the police officers would be a black police officer would be just as bad as the white ones. And if you and and now that I think about it, y'all remember that scene? And I know some of y'all must have seen Boys in the Hood, where Trey's character was pulled over and there was a black cop and the white cop, and who gave him the worst trouble was the black cop. Yeah, you must be one of them 30th Street Crenshaw niggas. I hate you niggas. and Trey, the Cuba Gooding Jr. was like, and then he came back. Of course, he went back and saw Brandy, his girl, and he got pissed, started crying, and of course, that's when Brandy finally, him and Brandy got busy because she saw something. I was like, okay, I see how you do it now. Shed a few tears in front of your girl, show your sensitive side, and you'll get some. That was the message I got. Still one of my favorite movies to this day. But I'm saying all that to say that I'm telling you what my father's experience was, and he's telling me a lot of shit that he never told me growing up. As I was growing up, now that he's in twilight of life, he's telling me all this shit, and I'm like, wow. It would have been nice to know this 20 years earlier, Dad. I would have, but better late than never. Who else? Thalia, you say your father's in good shape. That's good. Jack, you say that's deep. Yeah, my father's he's got some stories. He's got some stories. Maddox 12, what's up? How you doing? Good. Welcome to my stream. Thank you for joining. Please, thank you very much for joining. And let's see, what time is it? Because I don't want to be here. I don't want to, cut into BGS's time. I figured I'd jump in while there was, no, while there weren't any other folks on live. And normally I don't go live on a Saturday night. Um, but it's good to be here. It's good. Thank you guys for showing up. I really do. Doing great and blessed. There you go. There you go. Maddox 12, thank you for showing. Thank you for joining me on this stream. I'm just talking about. I'm just here talking because that's what I do. I talk. For those of you again who don't know, I used to do the reporting thing for newspapers back in the day in the 80s and 90s when we delivered news on rolls of dead trees. And thanks to the internet, that's not necessary anymore. But so I had to kind of. I could probably still do journalism, but it just won't. Unfortunately, it's advertising supported, and to try to make money online, would be difficult. Thalia say most old folks start confessing coming to the yeah, they start confessing near the end of their lives. They sure do. But yeah, they sure do. But my father had some stories that he never told. Oh my God, he had some stories he never told until recently. But and his name is Leroy. He's Leroy. I'm Leroy Jr. For those of you who don't know, and I don't mind telling you who I am. A lot of you know, some of you know who I am. And Jack Charles said, "Yeah, that was your grandmother." Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, and it's funny. My father would tell my nephew and my son more stuff than he would tell me and my brother. I would learn about some things that he did, especially before he was married, from my son. And my son would be like, yo, Dad, Grandpop savage, man. He was savage back in the day. I'm like, yeah, I'm sure he was. I'm sure he was. And I have pictures of my father. And back in the day, when they went out and when they went out on on a Friday or Saturday night, they all got dressed. They were all wearing ties and hats and all that. They were like clean. They went out clean back in the day. And I'm like, okay, yeah, they were clean back in the day. But I say all this to say, Philly, this is where my father grew up. Now, my mother grew up in South Carolina and then moved to New York. My father ended up moving to New York. They got together. Turns out they knew some of the same people and got married. And then, boom, here comes me, here comes my brother, and here comes my sister. And now here we all are pushing in our 50s, pushing 59 and 60. Life is something, man. But I'm gonna say this: it's if you can make it to this age, you're blessed. If you could, because the wisdom is there. And I'll say something else too about wisdom, age. Um, I a few years ago I took a test to become a foreign service officer with the Department of State. And I didn't, obviously, I didn't get that far because it was really it was a little too rigorous for that time. And then at the time, I still had my youngest kid. And I didn't, the idea of going overseas, it did appeal to me, but I gave that up. But here's the thing, on paper, the State Department will take a foreign service, an American, up to age 60. And as soon as I saw that, I knew why. Because in other parts of the world, people who are older are more revered, elders are more respected in other parts of the world, especially your Asian cultures, your Middle Eastern cultures. Elders are respected. In those cultures, you look forward to growing old because you're revered. people what your experience is is valued. Your wisdom, you've generated years of life experience, knowledge, and wisdom. And I think that is why the State Department will take a person up to age 60. Now, that's on paper. Now, in practice, I don't know. But here in America, you're seen as when you hit 50, you're seen as over the hill. You're basically, again, if you're an employee, if you want to be a W-2 employee, you're basically seen as a commodity. You're a line item on a budget. You're just, and you're seen as old, and you're seen as costly because, well, he might get sick, or this or that, and you know he'll cost us more in terms of health premiums, and so it's easier, and then he'll probably want more money because he has more experience. So it's easier for a company to go out and hire somebody young. They can get two young people for the price of one old person. And see, the problem with, again, there are laws on the books against age discrimination, but how do you prove it? They get around it by saying, well, you weren't a fit. You're not a fit. That's what they say. You can't, they pass these laws that are, especially in employment, that are totally unenforceable. Like, for example, if you can't ask the law says you can't ask a woman, a female job applicant, well, do you plan on having children anytime soon? Which to an employer is a legitimate question, but you're not allowed to ask it. Thing is, they'll ask it anyway, and what can you do? Unless what are you going to do? Who do you go to? Maybe you can go to the Department of Labor, and if they see a pattern, maybe they'll fine a company or whatever, but really? I guess, politicians do these unenforceable laws just to make themselves look good. But yeah, so, but I like to talk about issues of employment because, yeah, Thalia, what are you saying? I don't believe getting old means your life is over. Rather, higher wisdom. And here's the thing, I don't mind telling y'all folks, just because of circumstance, I am flat broke. I mean, I've got stuff. I mean, I make a little money. I would not call myself wealthy, okay? However, money can disappear in an instant. You can be rich one day. Yeah, you can be wealthy in terms of money, but that shit can disappear in an instant. But what stays with you are your knowledge, your experience, and your wisdom. Nobody can take that. And even if you die, if you leave that with your children, your nephews, your nieces, your younger folks, nobody can. That's more. I think that's more valuable. Because you can talk about, if you're a woman, you can. I see this on Twitter all the time where they talk about women who marry wealthy men, who want to marry up. That hypergamy. That's a big topic on YouTube. But yeah, great. That man is wealthy, but that man could be shot. He could be hit by a truck. His business could suddenly go under. He could be laid off. Well, I don't know about laid off, but depending on whether he owns the company or not. Um, Older people are just as good, if not better than, yeah, young. I hear you, Thalia, but I guess I guess my point is, it can all come. You can be flying high one day, and trust me, I've been there. It can all come crashing down in an instant. So don't get so. It's like this. All right. if you're a worker, they say save 6 months worth of income. All right, great, you've done that. Then your job goes south, or they decide they don't need you anymore. Some contract was lost, or there was some disruption. I mean, like I said, newspapers where I worked, in where the area I worked was totally disrupted. What happens? You have 6 months worth of income, and it takes you 6 months to find another job. You've exhausted your money. Now what? You've got to start over. There's never really, is there ever enough money? Unless you're some billionaire or something like that who probably got his money using psychopathic means. But doing that, Jack Charles says, doing that's truly leaving your mark, passing on your wisdom. Yeah. And that's why I'm here on YouTube. I'm trying to just pass down some stuff. Because, yeah, I ain't no rich mofo. I am not. Um, when I graduated school, newspaper journalism looked like a stable career field. But that was in 1981. I'm guessing some of y'all might not have been born in 1981. A lot of the folks I follow or interact with here in these YouTube streets were not around in 1981 when I graduated college. Okay. So a lot changed. A lot can change in 30 years. I married Mrs. Bamboozled. We actually got together in 1981 and married in 1986. And a lot has happened in 32 years. A lot can happen. And life will come at you. And they say, it's not how that life comes at you. It's how you deal with it. It's how you react to it. And just know, life is going to come. It's going to come at you, and it can come at you front ways, sideways, from behind. And I'm just telling you my experience. My wife ended up ill. She had an autoimmune disease. She's living with it, but it slowed her down. She was injured on the job. We're still waiting. We told this story together. We're still waiting on the state of New Jersey to make her whole. We are wondering if it'll ever happen. We feel like the state is playing us for chumps right now, but that's another story. My younger brother, his first wife ended up with rheumatoid arthritis. She lived with it for about maybe 15 years until the disease finally attacked her lungs to the point where she spent her last week of life on a ventilator because she could no longer breathe on her own. These are the kinds of things that happen in life. Let's see. Thalia says the Bible says this too shall pass for both negative and positive events, positive and negative events. That's right. And so when you're going through it, just know, and I have to tell myself this because I've been going through it now for about 5-6 years now. I started out pretty successful, and I figured, oh, this is the way it's going to be. I figured, and I actually worked for a company that was into, hiring black people, Hispanic people, Asian people in media because I guess, it wasn't totally altruistic. It was good business. It was seen as good business, but I benefited from that. But, things change. And it was a hell of an adjustment for me to have to move into some other area other than reporting. But I just want to let y'all know, if there's anything you want to talk to me about, you can holler at me. My email address is quadb2059 at gmail.com. and I'll put it in the description box once I edit this. Once YouTube once YouTube renders this live stream, and I'm here to, like I said, I'm just here to just drop some game, to drop some knowledge, drop some wisdom, um, because that's what I feel like I was put on this earth for. And well, I didn't know I was put on this. Of course, I didn't know at the time. That was when I was first born. I didn't know what I was put on this earth for. Can I tell y'all something? When I was 6 years old, when I was like 5 or 6 years old, I would I would always have these moments of deja vu when I was 6, 7 years old. Like just something as simple as turning on a light switch in a room, and then I feel like I did this. Did I do this before? It feels like I've done this before. Now I don't know what it was, but I had those. I had those. I don't know whether it was God or what putting something in my head. Did I have a previous life somewhere? I don't know. I haven't had those feelings of late in my adult life, but I certainly had them as a kid. Another thing I used to try to imagine as a kid was the universe. I tried to imagine, was there an edge, an end to the universe? Believe as we know it. I tried to imagine that as a 6 year old, and I just, I don't know why, I just did. And this universe as we know it, it's crazy. Yeah, it's interesting, isn't it? I'm not saying this to BS y'all. I really did try to, imagine if this universe, I knew there was planet Earth, I knew there was a solar system, I knew there was a Milky Way as a young kid, but what what was beyond that? Is there other life out there? We don't know. We're just this one little ball. We're on this one little wet blue and white marble circling around one of many many billions of stars in this as we know it in this universe. Oh man, yeah, I'm really getting deep on y'all, but God, yeah, but and there do I, and I guess that's an evidence of a belief in God because the Bible tells us, right, that God created the heavens and the earth. So the Bible gave us the what, but what we don't know is how. And we've been trying to figure out the how. And we think, of course, scientists say that it was a bang or something like that. It was some kind of explosion. And I don't know. Sometimes I wonder, though. I've said to some other, I can't remember who I said this to, but I thought, I'm surprised Hollywood hasn't made a movie based on the book of Genesis. Because if you look at the book of Genesis, it's got everything that Hollywood loves: sex, intrigue, um, uh, um, special effects. Can you imagine the special effects showing the Big Bang? Um, um, and the best part of the Bible is it's royalty free. You could write a screenplay based on that. Hey, Mel Gibson did it. Did anybody see Passion of the Christ when it came out in 2004? Now I'm going all over the place with this stream. Oh my God. Um, I mean, now I don't know what Mel Gibson's motivations were for making the movie because they say Hollywood is run by Jewish folks, and Jewish folks are the ones accused of killing Jesus in that ugly way. Um, even though Jesus was a Jew also. But did y'all see that movie and how his crucifixion was depicted? That was a pretty freaking ugly ass way to die. Ooh. And we wear these crosses on our necks and not realizing, yeah, it's a symbol of Jesus, giving his life for us and all that. And I'm not trying to get all like evangelical on y'all, but um, you've got, you know, when you watch that movie, and it was graphic, that nails going through the hands. I watched that. Me and my wife watched that in the theater, and I was like, I was like, oh, but and the whip and the scene where he was scourged, he was just whipped. You saw the flesh popping up off dude's back. Oh yeah, Jack. It was brutal. Mm-hmm. It was brutal. It was controversial, but that's according to the Bible. That's how it went down. And crucifixion was a very horrible, painful, ugly way to die. You might if given a choice between crucifixion and being shot in the head, you probably want to be just shot in the head. Being shot in the head is much quicker. But wow, it was something. But I know I'm going all over the place with this stream. Because that's how my mind works. I don't stay on one topic. I'm going all over the place, and I appreciate you guys staying with me. Um, we got six watching, and I'm sure a few more other folks will watch. But I'm one of the older dudes here in this part of the YouTube streets. Um, what time is it? Ooh, in about 13, less than 15 minutes, BGS's stream is going to begin. So I'm going to jump off of here. And BGS is my age. Black Gnostic Speaks he's in Los Angeles. And I learned a lot from listening to him as well. And he's had a think tank, and he's very well read, very well researched. And me, on the other hand, I tend to just, I need to read more. I haven't read as many books as I used to because I'm lazy. I just go online and look at Wikipedia. And there are a lot of TV shows that I could watch too, but I just look at the plot lines of Wikipedia. And Wikipedia is good. Don't get me wrong. Wikipedia is a good platform. If you're in school and let me tell you something. If you're in school and you're writing a paper, don't quote Wikipedia. Use it as a starting point. And if you need help writing a paper, you can holler at me too. But again, my area is mostly right now in public sector, government procurement, and I hope to be able to get this gig near Philly. Or if I get a gig in here, another gig here in DC, then I'll just find another place to live and stay here and go back to coming at you, go back to coming at you like, go back to coming at you like this. I love I still like to stay. I like the Capitol building. The first time I saw the Capitol building, I was 9 years old on a Cub Scout trip. And I'd always seen it, on TV and stuff. And it's a very impressive building. And I think we built it. Black slaves built this thing. I believe they did build it. So, um, so I like to say this about America. Yeah, the so-called founding fathers designed it, but we built it. Remember that. And it seems like the designers always get the love. The engineers, the architects, they get the love. But the people who actually do the work of building should get just as much love. That's just me. And that's something else that popped into my head. A lot of shit just pops into my head, and I want to share it with you just to give you something to think about. So, in any case, I'm going to get off of here. I've had fun. Thank you guys for showing up. Thalia, Neon, Jack, and who else was on the chat? Um, Maddox, Medix, Madics 12. Thank you. And I know just 6 of you watching, but that's okay. Hopefully, I'll have more folks watching. But I don't. I never get more than 10. I rarely get more than 10 people watching me because I don't come on. I pop. I don't. I don't have a schedule. I just pop up anytime. But it's right now. It's about 10:21 Eastern time on no, September 15th, 2008. And I guess I'll hop over and check out Black Gnostic Speaks. Jack says my wife started a government contact business. She just got a DUNS number. Can you give her some tips on writing a proposal? Email me, please, and give me a yeah. And you can ask me some more detailed questions. I can help her with that. Definitely, I can help her with that. And look for a and again look for the Planet GovCon, the Bamboozle Black Baby Boomer Planet GovCon series, episode 3, where we'll be talking about 8A, the 8A program for small businesses, which makes it easier for them to compete for work at the federal level. And it is very competitive. Don't get it twisted. But you want to be able to talk to a lot of government officials. You can market yourself, and I will provide that in a couple of. I will provide that in a couple of days, and I plan to do more. Even after even if when I'm in Philly, I do plan to do more. Planet GovCon stuff. That's what I call it, Planet GovCon. I think that sounds pretty cool. GovCon for government contracting. And not just on the federal level, but on the state level, municipal level, and even I can show you how you could even um, bid for work on your sewer board. I know a brother who I grew up with who has a janitorial service. He's had it for years. And he had a contract with New Jersey Transit to clean stations along what's known as a transit line, a light rail line known as the River Line that runs from Camden to Trenton, New Jersey. He had that contract for 10 years. He doesn't have it anymore. He had it when it opened up in 2004. And I was like, I said, how much was that? $100,000 a year. He said, I was like, damn, that's $1 million a year. And he said to me, yeah, but I don't know where the money went. I'm like, oh wow. So that was basically $1 million contract. But you got expenses, taxes, you have to pay people, all that. So hopefully you have a little money left over. But this brother has his own janitorial service. I hope to be able to help him get some more work too. And Maddox, yeah, please, yeah, email me on some projects as well. Again, QUADB, Quad B 2059. I use 2059 because I was born in 1959, 100 years hence, because that's how far I'm looking out. I want to look out 100 years from now, from and yours too, your great grandkids, because your great great grandkids are going to look back and ask what you did. What did you do to help them? So, anyway, it's been great. Thank you very much. Look for my podcast coming up in the next couple of days. And as I always say, if you want to share this video or this live stream, please like it. Please like the live stream. Please share it. Please subscribe to my channel. I still have a couple things I'd like to give away to my subscribers, but not all my subscribers identify themselves. I've got 250 subscribers right about now. I'd like to get up to 1,000 somehow. And also, if you'd like to donate to the channel, you see the you see the crawl up top here. Um, Either PayPal, or if you want to become a patron, please feel free. I mean, I'm not pressed for that kind of thing, but if you want to, I'd much appreciate it. That would be much appreciated. Um, so anyway, again, it's 10:20 now. It's 10:25 p.m. Eastern time on September 15th of 2008, and this is Quad B, aka Leroy Williams, aka Bamboozled Black Baby Boomer, saying, as I always do, peace, deuces, and God bless. And we will catch you on the next one. Thank you for being with us. Y'all take care, and we will see you later. Have a good one, and good night.